Progress.
The mimer begins, says a pasuk in Shir Hashirim, send the Varaina b'nai Tzioin, go out and see daughters of Tzioin. Bas Tzioin is often in singular referred to in Navi to the Jewish people are called Bas Tzioin. במלך Shlema, in the king Shlomo Melech, ba'atara שעיטרה lo imay, in the crown that his mother coronated him, b'yom chasanase, in the day of his wedding, u'b'yom simchas libo, in the day of his rejoicing of his heart. V'isa medrash, it's brought down the medrash huvad, Rosh Rab Seinu brought down the Amorim of Arabei Marnasim. Adel Divra Maskal Tzana Varaina Tavshi Chesel and Sidarein Quakers Marach more, until we actually see it also in a mimer by this title for the leader of our generation, the Frierdiker Rebbe. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan said, Shal Rab Shimon ben Yochai Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Yosi. Rab Shimon ben Yochai asked Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Yosi, Amar, he told him, Efshe Shemata me'avicha, perhaps you heard from your father, in other words, Rabbi Yosi, who was Rabbi Lazar's father, Mao ba'atara שעיטרה lo imay. What does it mean, the crown that his mother coronated him? Amar loi, so Rabbi Lazar answered him, Hein, I heard an answer from my father. I heard an explanation from my father. Amar loi, so Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai told Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Yosi, Heich, what's the meaning of this? Amar loi, so Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Yosi answered, Mashal Melech, it's analogous to a king. He had an only daughter. He would show her exceptional love. He called her my daughter. He didn't stop expressing his love until he called her my sister. He didn't stop showing his love for her until he called her my mother. It's like different forms and different terms of endearment, which we also find in European backgrounds. We find this in Yiddish, that sometimes you will call a little girl, you call her mutterl, motherl. Anyway, Cain, so too the Hashem was showing extreme favor and love towards the Jewish people. The Karam Biti, we find places where Hashem called the Yidden my daughter. He did not stop showing his love until he called the Jewish people my sister. And he did not stop showing his love to the Jewish people till he called them my mother. So we see from Rabbi Yosi that the Jewish people are called the mother of Hashem Kaviyachol. So this is what the pasuk means in Shir Hashirim, where it says, "Send the Varaina b'nai Tzioin Melech Shlomo, go out and see daughters of Tzioin." In the king Shlomo, who is King Shlomo? It doesn't mean like in the simple sense Shlomo Melech, but it means Melech Sha'ashalom Shaloi. It's the king who the peace is his, who owns the peace. Shehu HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's going on Hashem. That's what it means, go out and see daughters of Tzioin. In King Shlomo, I went back a line. In the crown that his mother coronated him, meaning that Hashem, who is the king, that the Shalom is his, was coronated by his mother. Who is his mother? Haynu Knes Yisrael. This is Knes Yisrael. They make for Hashem a crown. And the Mamorim analyze this. We need to understand. Shari Amr, as the Chazal said, this is already explained in a mimer previous to this that the Rebbe spoke about. Nasal and Nishma, when the Jewish people said, we will do, and then we will listen and understand. Bo Shishim Malachi Asharis, 600 Malachim came to every single Yid, and they tied on onto them 2 crowns. From this it's indicated Shebeshas Matan Torah, during Matan Torah, B'yom Chasunos is a Matan Torah. We know the Chazal say, what is considered a day of his wedding? What's the wedding day that it speaks about in the pasuk Tzana V'Rena, that's Matan Torah. So what happened on the wedding day? The Huchteru Yisrael B'Beis Ksarim, that the Jewish people were coronated with 2 crowns. V'kam b'medrash anal mashma, and here in this medrash it seems to indicate Shebishas Matan Torah, during the giving of the Torah, Yichtir Yisrael HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'Torah, that the Jewish people coronated Hashem with a crown. So who coronated whom? And they explained the Mamorim, the Shneim Emes, both of these things are true. The Yisrael Yitru V'Yichtiru HaKadosh Baruch Hu Matan Torah b'Torah, that the Jewish people coronated and crowned Hashem with a crown. They also merited 2 crowns. Like it's brought down the Medrash Rabbah on the pasuk. You shall be holy because I am holy. So we see that there is the holiness that the Jews have, and there's the holiness that Hashem has, and these holinesses we're going to see is connected with the crowns. Mashal Bnei Medina, the Chazal say it's a metaphor that we can understand. By citizens of a country, they made 3 crowns for their king. What did the king do? He placed 1 crown on his head. And he placed 2 crowns on the heads of his children. So too every day, the ones above the Malachim coronate Hashem with 3 times saying Kaddish. They say Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish. Each one of these Kaddish indicate a crown, because Kaddish means uplifted, holy, exalted, just like a crown's on top of the head, showing on a very elevated state. Ma Kaddish Baruch Hu Oisa, what does Hashem do? Noisim Baroisha Achas V'Shtayim Baroisha Shalbanov. He places 1 on his own head and 2 on the head of his children. That's what it says. Dabra Kolab Nas Bnei Yisrael. Kedoshim Tiu, speak to the Bnei Yisrael. You shall be holy. V'skadishtem, you shall sanctify yourself. V'yisim Kedoshim, and you shall be holy. Halyonim Machtirim LaKadosh Baruch Hu Gimel Kedoshes. The ones above the Malachim coronate Hashem with 3 Kaddishes. Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish Hashem Tzvaka Yisgomer. They say 3 times Kaddish. Ma Kaddish Baruch Hu Oisa, what does Hashem do? Noitel Kaddish Echad La'atzma, he takes 1 Kaddish for himself. Shenamar, like it says in the pasuk, Ki Kaddish Ani, I am holy. That's the 1 Kaddish, the 1 crown that Hashem takes for himself. V'shtayim Noisim B'Reisham Shalbanov, and 2 of the other crowns, 2 of the other Kaddishes he placed on the heads of his children. El Yisrael, this is the Jewish people. Shenamar, like it says, V'skadishtim V'yisim Kedoshim. That's 2 Kaddishes. You shall be sanctified, you shall sanctify yourself. The Rebbe says, we still need to understand, though we explained that both the Yidden and Hashem receive crowns, both the Yidden and Hashem receive the level of Kaddish, so therefore it's not a contradiction when we say that Imi gave a crown to Hashem, and the other way around, that the Malachim put crowns on the Yidden. But it's still a difficulty. In this medrash, it's indicated that how does the coronation of the crown, meaning the word Kaddish of Hashem, who accomplishes that? That's through the Malachim. Like the Chazal say, Ha'alyonim machtirim, the ones above coronate Hashem. As opposed to the above mentioned medrash. On the pasuk, go out and see. It's indicated that the coronation of Hashem is through Knesset Yisrael, his mother. So who is it? Is it the Malachim coronating Hashem, or is it the Jewish people coronating? That's one question that I've asked. Additionally, it's not understood. What's he saying specifically? That the crown that his mother coronated him with, in other words, the crown that he didn't place on Hashem's head, it's specifically in the day of his wedding. The Yom Chassidus is Matan Torah. What's the day of his wedding? We mentioned before, the Chazal say, what's the day of Hashem's wedding? That's Matan Torah. Lama miyachas zois lamatan Torah dafka. The Rebbe asks, why do we apply this based on the previous Maimer Chazal? Why do we apply this specifically to Matan Torah? Haloi b'chol yom v'yom ha'al yoinim machtirim l'Hakadosh Baruch Hu b'gimel kedoshes. Every day, the ones above carnate Hashem with the three Kodeshes by saying Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh. Whereas the Medrash says, Ba'atara she'itla the coronation takes place by Matan Torah. V'gam inim v'skadishtem v'yisim kedoshim ki kodesh onim. When it says you shall sanctify yourselves, you should be holy because I am holy. Hutzivui u'mitzvah v'choiva. It's a command, it's a mitzvah, it's an obligation. Al kol echad b'chol yom v'yom v'lav davka Matan Torah. It's each one has this obligation every day, not just Matan Torah. V'im kein lama Torah zabiyom chasonosi Matan Torah. So why in the pasuk, in the title pasuk of the Maimer, does he say about the coronation that we coronate Hashem on the day of the wedding, which is Matan Torah? Second paragraph on the page. But the point of the explanation and all the above, the Chazal said, "Ein malachi asharis oimrim shira l'mayla tshiyom Yisrael l'mata." That malachim do not say they're not sing their praises to Hashem above until the Jewish people say the praises down here below. The malachim await our praises of Hashem. Shenamar, like it says, Beron Yachad Kochvei Boiker. That says when all the stars, the morning stars, sing together, and V'hodar later after that it says in the pasuk Vayoriu Kol Bnei Elokim, and all the children of Elokim will proclaim, will shout out. The Kochvei Boiker Hem Yisrael. The morning stars are the Jewish people, like we know that the Jewish people were likened to stars. Avraham Avinu was told they would be like stars, etc. Through their singing songs of praise to Hashem. Initially, that's what it means Beron Yachad, when they will sing together. Oz, only afterwards, Vayoriu Kol Bnei Elokim, then all the children of Elokim will proclaim and shout out, Shema Malachim, it's going on the Malachim. V'nimtza muvan umevur, so it's understood and explained from this. Even the fact that the ones above, which are the Malachim, coronate Hashem by reciting Kodesh, 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 they are not the initiators. They need to follow who Gamkin told to be Yisrael Dafka. It's also dependent upon the Jewish people. And how come? Why can't the Malachim do it on their own? Why do they need to wait for the Yidden? The reason for this will be understood based on what the Chazal say. Is that the Jewish people are favored before Hashem more than the Malachim. Where do we see this? It's expressed. That the Jewish people are in such an elevated, beloved state that they are able to mention Hashem's name after only saying two words, Shema Yisrael. Malachi Ashoris ein maskim as Hashem el alacher shol shtevis k'dichsiv Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh Hashem v'goymer, and the Malachim cannot mention Hashem's name only by prefacing it and saying first three words of Kodesh, 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 and then they mention Hashem's name. What does this indicate in our topic? V'hainu, this means to say, the Keshem Shemalachi Asharos Aimrim Shira. Just like Malachim sing songs of praise to Hashem. V'ashira Shalami Kodesh, 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 and their songs of praise is where it says Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh. Hine Kein Yisrael Aimrim Shira, so to the Yidden say songs of praise. V'ashira Shalahem Yishma Yisrael. Their song of praise comes out from this Maimer Chazal, Yishma Yisrael. The difference between Malachim and the Jewish people is the Malachi Asharos Maskin Mas Hashem Machar Gimel Teva is that the Malachim mention the name of Hashem after three words of Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh. The Yisrael Maskin Mas Hashem Machar Beis Tevis, and the Yidden mention Hashem's name after two words. That's why it says, Beron Yachad Koich V'Boiker V'Hadar V'Yirir Kol Bnei Elkim. That's why the Malachim are dependent upon the Jewish people. First, all the stars of the morning stars will sing together, and then all the children of Elkim will shout out. Since there's an advantage in the service of the Jewish people over the service of Malachim. Therefore, it's in the capability of the Malachim only to recite Shira after the Malachim recite. The Malachim only have the power to recite Shira only after the Jewish people recite Shira. Kriya Shema, and the Shira of the Jewish people that precedes the Shira and the songs of praise of the Malachim is what the Yidden say, Kriya Shema. We said that the fact that the Malachim placed or gave 3 crowns to Hashem is called also the coronation of the mother of Hashem. That it says by the crown that his mother coronated him, because the Malachim do not recite Shira until the Jewish people recite Shira. Nimtza comes out, comes out that even what the Malachim give the 3 crowns to Hashem, that's also via Knes Yisrael, Klal Yisrael, which is Imoy, which is called Hashem's mother. So, 3rd paragraph on the page. Now it will be understood also why it says in the crown that his mother coronated him when? By the day of his wedding by Matan Torah. That we said seemingly it's a daily thing. Why do we associate it with the giving of the Torah? The coronation of above took place through the song of the Yidden down here below by reciting Shema Yisrael. The Chazal said, where and how did the Jewish people merit this tefillah and this shira of Shema Yisrael? They merited it mimatan Torah, from the giving of the Torah, Zoch Yisrael Likre Shema. The Jewish people merited to read Shema. Ketzad atem moitze leipasach HaKadosh Baruch Hu betchila ela bedavar zeh. We find that Hashem did not begin on Mount Sinai initially only with this matter. Amar lahem, Hashem told the Jewish people as follows: Shema Yisrael, listen, Jews. Anoichi Hashem lekecha, I am Hashem your God. Then kulam all responded v'amru, and they said, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem echad. Hashem is our God, Hashem is one. V'hainu Hashem Elokeinu hu hamayne v'kibul al adibur anoichi Hashem lekecha. When the Yidden say Hashem Elokeinu, it's a response and the acceptance of what Hashem stated, I am Hashem your God. Hashem echad, by saying the words Hashem echad, hu hamayne v'kibul al adibur lo yelecha. It's the response and the acceptance of the negative commandment that it says there shall not be any other gods. Shari Hashem echad, the idea of Hashem is one. Achtus Hashem, the unity and oneness of Hashem. Hu inyan lo yelecha l'kim acherim goymer. It's the idea of the command that we should not have any other gods. These 2 dibras are the general idea of Matan Torah. Like it's brought down the Gemara. That the first 2 of the Aseret Dibras, I am Hashem your God, and they should not have any other gods. We heard that directly from Hashem. And to such a degree did we hear it, until they were said at one time, simultaneously. How come? Why was it necessary to hear only those 2? Because these 2 dibros are the entire Torah. So therefore, by hearing Anoichin Lo Yilcha directly from Hashem, we heard the entire Torah. The Mizem moving atam. From this understood the reason, she'inyan achtarah, the idea of the coronation, that we say in the pasuk Tzanaren about Torah Shitulei Imai, in the crown that his mother coronated him, who be Yom Chasunos is a Matan Torah, specifically in the day of his wedding, which is the giving of the Torah Davke. Because the coronation took place through saying Shema Yisrael, meaning specifically Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, Shiras Yisrael, which we said this is the Shira, this is the song of praise of the Jewish people. This brings to the song of praise of the Malachim Hamachtirim, Zakadosh Baruch Hu b'Shalosh Kedusha, that they are coronating Hashem with the 3 times saying Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish. From where did the Jewish people merit Kriya Shema? B'Shas Matan Torah Dafka, specifically Matan Torah. So now we understand why it says in the pasuk Tzana v'Ren b'noi Sion b'Torah Shitloi Shloimei B'Melch Shloim b'Torah Shitloi Imei B'Chasunosai. It all began with the Shema Yisrael that we said by Matan Torah. That allowed the Malachim to give the crowns, and that's how this whole thing developed. Second paragraph. Move on. According to all this, still not understood. If the Yidden are so unbelievable, and the whole coronation begins with the Yidden, etc., so why do the Yidden need the Malachim at all? Let them coronate Hashem by them saying the 3 times Kaddish. That's anyway, they're the ones that are giving the Malachim the capability to say Shira to such a degree that we attribute it to the Jewish people, and we say that Imai coronated him, even though it's a Malachim, but since the Malachim are dependent on the Yidden, we're still calling it that the Yidden coronated Hashem. So why does the Malachim have to mix into this whole mix anyway? The idea behind this is the service of the Yidden, their song of praise that they're giving to Hashem, is specifically while they are neshamas and bodies, specifically in this low world, that there's nothing lower than it. There's no world beneath it. That's the ultimate purpose, to make for him a home down here below. This is affected through the Jewish people while being souls in bodies down here below. Like it says, that he desires the actions of your hand, meaning he wants our avoided down here in the physical world, dealing with physical action. Therefore, there has to be the intermediary of Malachim. Since the service of the person of the Yidden is down here below, and the speech and the voice of the human being are physical, they need to be refined and purified before they can be elevated and become part of the holiness of the spiritual world, since they're, after all, physical breath, physical words, physical airwaves. These need to be refined. For this, they need to have the effect and the activity of the Malachim, like it says in Kabbalah, Gofif lahoin umenashik lahoin. So he translates it in the parentheses, Shamalachim mechabkim umenashkim es tevis atfilah. The Malachim embrace and kiss the words of davening. But it's not just that they kiss it and embrace it out of their love for the davening of the Jewish people, but it's a means of polishing our words. That's the idea of shining and polishing the words of the Yid. Just like a vessel. That silver, for example, you need to polish it, so it should be a brilliant, a clear vessel. So the same thing, the Malachim do this to the words of davening of the Yidden. This is also what the Chazal say, matat, a certain malach, he ties crowns for his maker from the tefillas of the Jewish people. The keser itself is made. It's not the malachim making it. It's made up. The material of the crown is the tefillas of the Jewish people. So what's this malach matat's function? Matat bezehi, and the effect of matat in this is rak mashuhu hakoisher saksorim. He is the one that binds and puts together these crowns. How come? Why is it necessary for his intervention? Because the malachim polish the words of davening, that the crowns should be luminous and they should be pure and brilliant. That they should sparkle and shine like a sapphire stone. Shlomo, we could say, the prot is gam inyan zeh. Even this idea, the idea of the purification, the polishing, is also accomplished by the avoid of the Yid. Like it says, you shall count to you from the morrow of the first day of Pesach, which he calls Shabbos Shiv. Shabbos is Goymer 7 weeks, etc. The Hagdam of Achana Vachshara. The introduction, the preparation, the getting ready and worthy. Liyom Chasunos is a Matan Torah, to the day of his wedding, which is Matan Torah. His Sfiras Omer is the counting of the Omer. In this bar, Sfartim and Shabbos Parshva Midbar was explained in a previous Maimer, in the Maimer called the Sfartim of Shabbos Parshva Midbar. Ubekam Mekaimus, and the Rebbe says it's explained in many places. Inyan Asfira Meloshin Evan Sapir. The word Sfira and the idea of Sfiras and the word a sapphire stone. Hainu Sha'avoidas Hasfira Yatzichzuach. The avoid of Sfira is the polishing. That the service of the person should be in a way of a pure, a clear, and a luminous, sparkling, brilliant vessel. Elo. If so, if it's the Jewish people that are doing it, so we're back to the first question: why is the malachim necessary? Since even the avoid of Sfiras Omer is done through souls that are embedded in bodies, we still need the actual assistance. We need to have the malachim. Therefore, at the conclusion of this service, at the end of this service of the last 7 weeks of Sfiras Omer, Az Itru Yisrael HaKadosh Baruch Hu Begimel Ksorim Adya Malachim. So then the Jewish people coronated Hashem with the 3 crowns through the Malachim. Afterwards, Hashem placed 1 crown on his head, and 2 he placed in the heads of his children. Like it says, the Maimer Chazal we brought before, Bo Malachi Ashoris, the Malachim came, V'koshel Yisrael Beis Kshorim, and they tied for the Yidden 2 crowns. Echad Keneged Naisev, Ech Keneged Nishma, one corresponding to what they said we will do, and another corresponding to what they said we will listen and understand. Yesh Leimer, the Rebbe says we can say, this is also the idea that we said before, that through the revelation of Matan Torah, the Yidden merited Kriyas Shema, the Achiyah of the Kriyas Shema b'chol yom v'yom pamayim b'chol yom. The obligation to read Kriyas Shema is daily and twice a day. Achu gam b'layla, until even one of those times that it has to be read is at night. Hainu, this means to say, Shleimus havoida this reading Kriyas Shema at night means that we take the night, we take the darkness, and we transform it to light. The perfect and the completion of the avoid of transformation of darkness to light. It's connected specifically with our service down here below, refining the darkness, which is the whole idea of a Svartim Lachem L'Shoin Even Sapir, like we said before, you shall count to you, from the word a sapphire stone, to illuminate and to make shine. Last paragraph on the page, 2 lines from the bottom. Just like this revelation was Matan Torah the first time around when it occurred over 3,300 years ago, the same thing takes place every single year. Like they say, like it says, these days are remembered and done. Through being remembered, that the matters of these days being remembered. Boy, as it's supposed to be remembered, with a remembrance according to Torah, which is the Torah of truth. Through that, it's occurring and it's being drawn down. All that which was drawn down the first time around is being drawn down again. Until the idea that it occurs and it's done is like the literal sense. It's coming down into the level of action. In the world of action, till the world of the action of action. In this low world, that there's no world lower than it. That over there, in that lowest place, we need to make a home for Hashem down here below. This is connected specifically with the giving of the Torah, like it's known. It's brought down in many Mamorim. After the giving of the Torah, knowing what Hashem wants, meaning to know what the ruling of halacha and the Torah is, it's specifically through the rulings of those down here below. Like it says that Hashem tells his Bezdin above, when there was an argument about different halachas, they say, come, let us hear what they say down here below, because once the Torah was given, so now the possibility to explain and decide what is Hashem's will, it's down here below. The idea of a halacha, the ruling, the psak din, that is the we will do, that's higher than we will understand. Because we will understand is from the expression understanding, not just we will hear and listen. And in the understanding, it's possible to be a discussion, a give and take, and the differences of opinions. They are saying Shabbos, like we know that no two people have the same mind and opinions. As opposed to the word nasa, who psak halacha is the ruling of halacha, it's the revelation of the will of above, that this is the idea, Chazal say, what it says about Yehuda, that the Havaya is with him, Yudke Vavke is with him, so the Chazal say that indicates that the halacha is like him, meaning that Gilu Shem Havaya, specifically the name Yudke Vavke, has to do with the halacha. When it comes to disputes, we say the term Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim Chaim. These and those are the words of the living God, but it still has to do with Shem Elokim, which shows on still some type of concealment and constriction. Shem Havaya specifically in halacha. Through the halacha that we paskin down here, we fit in and we correspond to the divine will. Until the master of the will, the Rebbe says in the parentheses, like the Rebbe explained in the previous line. Second paragraph on this page, not only are these days remembered and they are performed and they happen again every single year, but additionally, that every year What we're drawing down, and what comes down is from an even higher level, b'yesra say, so b'yesra oz, in a much more powerful way than any prior year. Like it's brought down in the Geras HaKodesh in Tanya, Shebachol Shana, every single year, descends a new supernal light on Rosh Hashanah, that never shone in 5,786 years, never shown such a revelation. For this reason, the Chazal say concerning Torah that it should be like in your eyes new. How come? Since it's a command in the Torah of truth, it's understood that it is true, that the Torah is new every single year, every single day. The mitzvahs are mamish new. What does it mean that the mitzvahs are mamish new? The reason for this is because descends a totally new light from above that never shone prior. Therefore, this matter is a close preparation to the revelation of Mashiach's times. Also, then it will be a chidush in a way of mamish, in a novel way. That Mashiach, there will be a new revelation. Like it says, Torah Chadosh the Chazal explained that there will be a new Torah will come out from me. Begulam mitzvah shlema de Mashiach came in the true and complete redemption through Mashiach. Third paragraph on this page. V'hinei b'negei legilui the loss of Lava Yisa concerning the revelation of Mashiach's times. It's brought down Betanya. There was already something similar to the revelation of Mashiach's times during the giving of the Torah. Then, during the giving of the Torah, it was only similar to what's going to take place when Mashiach comes. It was only a beginning, a starting off of the revelation of Mashiach's times. Afterwards, in the days of Purim, they fulfilled what they already accepted by Matan Torah. It ceased the great protest for the Torah. That it says that by Matan Torah there was a coercion because Hashem held the mountain over their heads. But during Purim, that Yidden chose to remain Jewish, even though it meant risking their lives. The Zehoyai, the Mesiras Nefesh, was Manam Neis the Purim, through the miracle, the Mesiras Nefesh, and the self-sacrifice in the time of the miracles of Purim. So through that, any protest that might have been that the Torah we were coerced into the Torah, fell off because we showed that we loved the Torah, we loved Hashem on our own. Valderach said the Rebbe compares our days to the self-sacrifice of Purim. It's also through the self-sacrifice at present. Not to be embarrassed before the scoffers. The primary self-sacrifice that we have in these days doesn't involve endangering our lives on the fulfillment of the Torah mitzvahs. It's primarily about not being embarrassed from people that make fun. Though our service is not like in other times, that it's out of comfort, till even the nations of the world assist in Torah study and fulfillment of mitzvahs, still in all. Along with this, that the Jewish people are, the nations are making fun of the Jewish people, that it's brought down in the hymn of Akdamas, that the nations of the world are wondering, and they're asking the Jewish people, from what and who is the one that loves you? Arum begines firis mador ariyusa. There is the idea of the ones that are the dwelling, whatever. Shazam Yustam Ashkosu B'Shir Hashirim. It's based on what it says in Shir Hashirim. Madoidich Medoid Hayofa Benoshim. What is your beloved from the ones that are beloved from the most beautiful amongst the women? Ukadisa Medrasham, that's brought down in the Medrash over there. Sha'umas Tmeim, the nations are wondering. Ma'alekechem Mikol Alekim. How is your God different than all gods? Sha'atim Nisrofim Nitzlovim, all of that you are being burned and you are being crucified for him. Umekol Mokim Yisrael Oimdim Mesiras Nefesh. Yidden are standing with self-sacrifice. The Al Yevosh Mepnei Hamaligim, of not being embarrassed from the scoffers. Umahapchim Misalag Dol Umazah, and they're transforming Domus Ha'olam, they're transforming the scoffing of the nations of the world. V'nasa, and instead it becomes that the nations become your caretakers and your trainers, etc. So too it will be when Mashiach comes. It will be an extremely great joy. In such a way that he skips and jumps with all his might. This comes down in general through our actions of service throughout the entire duration of exile, with Proteus, and more specifically the avoida dikvus the Mashiach, through the avoida that the heels of Mashiach's times. Then there are scoffers. From this we draw down the great revelation above, just like it says by Yetzias Mitzrayim, that the more they afflicted the Jewish people, so too they increased and they expanded. We come to traveling from strength to strength, like it says in the pasuk, they will go from strength to strength, but Shlemus, in the ultimate perfect way, until the fulfillment of the end of the pasuk, that Kel Lakim will appear in Tzyon, the revelation of the Tzyon, the extraordinary part of the soul. Is the yechid of the soul. Until the idea that will become visible in Tzyon b'pashtus, in the literal sense, it will be in the true, complete redemption through Mashiach. Will go with our youth and our elderly, with our sons and our daughters, just like it was Matan Torah. Then the Jewish people were all complete and whole. The entire Jewish people were there, from your heads and your tribes until your wood choppers and your water carriers. Not only is it in the Jewish people, it will be this way. We cause or we affect in the entire world. Just like Matan Torah, Kedisa Medrash, like it's brought down the Medrash of B'Shas Matan Torah, during the giving of the Torah, the sound came from all directions, from the entire world, and proclaiming, I'm Hashem your God. Final paragraph, the Matan Torah, the revelations of the giving of the Torah, came about through the prefacing of the avoid of the Yidden in general. And specifically, the idea of prefacing, saying we will do before saying we will understand. The Dafkai days and Nimshchak, specifically through that came down the crowns. This is the idea that the countrymen are making crowns for the king. The ultimate purpose is there should be a perfect and complete country. There should be a home for him down here below. That we build for Hashem a building and a home and a built-up country. The country should not be destroyed, like it says about Moshe Daven. Like it's brought down in Medrash on the pasuk. It's a davening, it's a tefillah for Moshe, the godly man. Mashal Gimel Bnei Adam. It's analogous to three people, Shabo, Little, Doid, and Chulu Min HaMelech, that they came to receive a gift from the king. For whatever reason, the king wanted to give them a gift. So each one asked, the first two asked whatever they asked. Ba Shlishi, the third one that was going to get a gift from the king, Amar Loi, the king asked the person, Ma'atam Avakish, what do you want? What's your request? Amar Loi, so the third one told the king, Einim avakish al atzmi klum. I don't ask anything for myself. Al Medina ploinish yichareva, but there's this country that is destroyed. V'hi shalcha, it's your country. Gezor shetibana, decree that it should be built. Amar Melech, zu atoyra gdoili lachulu. This is a great crown for you. But Moshe v'Amar Loi, Ma'ata Mavakish, the same thing. Moshe Rabbeinu came to Hashem, and Hashem asked him, "What are you requesting?" Amar Loi, Moshe Rabbeinu told Hashem, "Einu Mavakish la'atzmi." I do not request anything for myself. El al Yisrael. I'm asking for the Jewish people that you should make a home for amongst them. Amar Loi, so Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, Zu Torah G'doli Loch. This is a great crown for you. This is the Tefillah Moshe Ishalakim. This is Moshe Rabbeinu's prayer. Through such service, we effect that literally the country should be built up. The land that constantly the eyes of Hashem, your God, is in it from the beginning of the year till the end of the year. And over there itself, in the built Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim, the holy city, the capital city, the royal city, there itself, in the holy mountain of the Beis HaMikdash, and the Beis HaMikdash, and the Holy of Holies. That even before Mashiach's coming, there was always the revelation that the glory of Hashem is revealed. But when Mashiach comes, that glory of Hashem that was limited to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, Yispashid B'chol Olam, will expand in the entire world. Like the Chazal say, that in the future Eretz Yisrael is going to expand in the entire world. And the future Yerushalayim will expand in the entire Eretz Yisrael. And the glory of Hashem will become revealed. And all flesh will see together. The mouth of Hashem spoke. The revelation of the power of the doer, meaning Hashem, in what's being done, meaning the world, speedily in our days, mamash.